everyone, it's Stephanie Kennedy here at Panther Cheer Athletics. I'm coming to you live tonight again. It's Tuesday night and our gym is pumping with lots of kids outside going on. I'm going to really quickly do a sound check to see if my volume and sound is working today. So give me 1 second. I'm excited to have a chance to chat with you today. Excellent, I hear you can hear me tonight. Awesome. Must be the new phone, so I'm very excited about that. So today what I wanted to do is have a chat with you about why do we care about character so much here at Panther Cheer. Often we chat and a lot of blog posts and a lot of things about why we work so hard about developing and caring about your children's character, and how we at Panthers and the coaches who work with your children, how they do that, how do they develop character. I was listening to a really great podcast today from a gentleman named Michael Hyatt, who is a leading thought, #1 thought leader in the entrepreneurial world. And his podcast, which I'll link in the notes that I listened to, was about the three forces that develop character in people. And they really resonated with me. And so I wanted to share them with you and my thoughts about why they resonated with me as a parent. For those of you that don't know, I have 4 of my own children. They range in age from 7 is my youngest to 14 is my oldest. And they are all very active in sports. And my husband and I made a very conscious decision when they were young to put them in a lot of sports. And why is that? And I thought that Michael Hyatt's podcast and these 3 forces that he talks about, how they impact character, are key. And so I was going to go over the three character traits, or 3 forces. And so the first one that I'm going to talk about is the input that they consume, that being a driving force of character. And I think as a parent, we can all relate to that. One of the reasons we put our kids, me and my husband, put our kids in so many sports is that then they're not at home, and ultimately they're not on their electronics as much. If the input that they consume is video games, social media all the time, is TV or movies, that's going to have an impact on their character. You are what you consume. One of his quotes that he does in the podcast is garbage in, garbage out. What are you putting in is what you're going to get out. And so sports has helped us a lot with that, because they're at the gym, they're on the field, they're at soccer practice, basketball practice, they're in the pool at swim practice. And it's really helped us limit the amount of time that they're spending either in front of a computer screen, in front of an iPad, in front of the TV, watching movies, all of that sort of thing. And so we've really noticed that on the days that our children aren't in a sport, where they are home for an extended period of time, whether that's a weekend or a weeknight, I can really tell a difference in my kids, and I'm not sure if you can as well, that when they're not out and they're home for a long period of time, I get a lot more attitude. I get a lot more talking back. I get a lot more behaviors that I don't enjoy from my kids. And so one of the things we do is, if I notice that going on, we try and get out of the house, whether it's go for a walk or they go for a run. But sports has really helped us put limits on how much time they get to spend in front of a screen. And I think that's important for us as adults. We know that the input we consume really affects our character and our moods, right? If we're watching a lot of trash television and what that does to us. And so again, I think it's really important, and sports benefits that. So the kids that are in the gym 3-4 times a week are in the gym. They're being surrounded by positive people. They're being surrounded by our awesome coaches who are helping to build them up and give them a positive outlook on themselves and on life. And so sports has been a great way for us to limit what kind of input that they consume and help them, we feel, develop stronger character traits. So that's #1. So my #1 tip, well, from Michael Hyatt, was the input that they consume, and how I think here at Panthers and putting your kids in sports, whether that's soccer, swimming, basketball, baseball, softball, is it helpful to you? The second tip that he talks about, a second force, is relationships that we pursue. And so who are our kids hanging around with most of the time? Are they, I love that people are joining us. Hi Sharon, hi Deb, hi Debbie. So that's great. So the second one was relationships that we pursue. Who are our kids spending the most time with? And Chris and myself, my husband and I, really think that by putting them into lots of different sports, that they are around like-minded kids, and we as a couple are around like-minded other families and couples. We know that they value the traits that their kids are getting out of sports as well. We know that they probably value the skills like commitment, fair play, hard work, teamwork, that our kids are going to be surrounded by other kids who get it and get them and get the time that they're spending in the gym and the healthy habits and the healthy character traits. And so relationships that our kids can pursue and those people that they're around, we think is key. And so here at Panthers, or on any sports that your kids are with, when they're around other kids that are on the same path as them and understand the same commitment they get when their kid can't go to a dance because they have a practice, or they know that school is important and the hard work and the perseverance it's going to take for them to do that is important. And if our kids can be surrounded by people that we want them to lift, that will lift them higher, then I think that's key. So that's my second tip. So relationships that we pursue. And then the third tip that, or the third force that Michael talks about in the podcast is the habits that they acquire. And so the habits that we acquire are going to help us build our character. And so what does that mean for the kids, our kids, and our kids that are in sports? Well, the habits that they acquire by being involved in sports are tremendous. I mean, they're tenfold. There's so many things that our kids learn by being involved in sports, from things like dedication. They know they have to show up. They know they have to, a commitment. They have to show up to their practice. They can't let their teammates down. They can't let their coaches down. They know that that takes commitment and hard work, and that they need to put the time in to learn skills or to get better, the perseverance that's required. And so all of those types of habits, I think, have a tremendous impact on them in building our children into the adults that we're hoping that they're going to become. I mean, I look at my own kids and, waking up, my kids do swim club in the summertime, and they have 6 a.m. practices, and they have to wake up at 5 a.m. Through the summer. I mean, that's crazy. It's earlier than they have to wake up when they go to school during the school season. And yet I never hear a complaint from any of them, because they love swimming. They love competing in summer swim. They love their people that they're surrounded by through Kigu's, which is what the program that they do. And they never complain. They wake up, and I'm like, I don't know if I would wake up at 5 a.m., but I know that that's building a character trait in them that they understand is going to benefit them. And when they have to work, and when they find an idea or a passion as an adult that they want to go all in, they're getting that habit, that they understand how important that habit is. Some other habits that they get through sports that have been key for my children are understanding the commitment and the pull of, do they go to the school dance, or do they miss basketball practice, or do they go to basketball practice because they know they've made a commitment. And so that's a conversation that all of our kids have. There's what choice are they going to make, and making that choice is going to build and strengthen their character. So that excites me to see them making those choices, and that they're surrounded by peers who get it, that get their choice, because they're the same. They choose to come to practice over going to a party or going to a school dance or joining something else. They understand that. The third part of that I think is a huge benefit to sports, and why we put our kids in sports, is the juggling of time, the habit of, can they plan? How are they going to manage all of these pieces in their life? My kids are involved in basketball, soccer, swimming, cheerleading, tumbling, and so in their week, when they have school, I have 2 now that are in high school, how do they manage the homework, the tests that are coming up? And that lifelong skill of planning and understanding that, no, you can't miss practice because you have a test. You should have planned in advance and studied in advance, talked to your teacher in advance. Those are all important skills. As is, they miss a lot of school. I think my daughter missed like so many classes last year due to being on her senior high school basketball team. And, missing class, yes, that's something that isn't desirable necessarily, but it did teach her how to be very organized, how to have the strength of character to go and speak to her teacher and let them know that she was going to be missing classes, being caught up in advance to know what's going on. And so responsibility, I think sports teaches our kids how to be responsible, and that's a lifelong skill as well. So this podcast was excellent, and there were so many things that were relatable to me as an adult, and this idea that us building our own character is a lifelong pursuit, and that it's not something that is easily attained, nor is it something that we can forget about, that every day we have to make choices that build our character and help us be the people that we say we are, and that we can reflect that onto our children as well. So are our children learning how to really hone in on these three forces, and that these three forces are helping them to build their character so that they have more success in their life. And I truly believe that sports is a great way to do that. The lessons that we teach through sports, and that if you're a coach or if you're a parent volunteer, you get it as well. You see it. You see what these kids go through. And so something that we're very proud of that we do here at Panthers. And I know that other parents who have their kids involved in a lot of sports, all get it. And that's part of the whole number two, the relationships that we pursue. We're around like-minded people. So again, just to summarize, this is a short one today. The three different forces that help build character in children. I was saying that I listened to a great podcast from Michael Hyatt, and I'll post a link after the video of you can listen to it as well on your way to work or in the car, which is what I did today. And the three habits are, number one, the input that we consume helps to develop our character. It's very important that it's all good stuff that's building us. Garbage in, garbage out, that's what we're gonna get. Number two, the relationships that we pursue. Who do we surround ourselves? There's another saying that, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so who are those 5 people that you're spending the most time with? And who are the 5 people that your children are spending the most time with? Hopefully strong role models and adults and other children that you are hoping your child is learning from. And the third one was that the habits they acquire. And so what kind of habits are we helping our children develop? Because that's going to strengthen their character, whether that's, and us as well, how can we do that? So those are the three. So I hope you enjoyed that. You can send me some hearts by clicking the little button if you enjoyed this podcast or this live Facebook video. And I will see you all in the gym next time. So thanks for joining me today. Bye.